Today I'm going to talk about this little red and black table, which turns into a maple and black table. My friend, who is an elementary school teacher, was cleaning up the school before the first week started, and she said that there was an extra table that one of the teachers no longer wanted, and did I want it? So, because it was solid wood, I said, sure, I'll come and take it. So I did. When I brought it home, I realized that it was difficult to take off the base because the way it was put on, some of the supports for the legs were covering the screw holes. I had to get a crowbar to take this off once I released most of the screws, and then later on I'm going to screw in the supports and not use nails. On some of these supports, there were about 9 nails that I had to take off, but I glued the pieces back together because they started to disintegrate, and I used all the pieces to put it back together. So you'll see at the end how lovely it looks. So what had happened is that this table, I believe, used to have leaves on it. And it's a fir table that is probably at least 50 or 60 years old. It only had the top now, but I know that there used to be leaves because on the side of the base of the table, there were little pieces that would rotate out. So if you put the leaf out, you rotate the wood, and then that would support the leaf. So I realized that some of the part of the base had been nailed down, so I did take the crowbar and remove it. Nothing got hurt, but I did fix it later, so if anybody ever uses this table in the future, it will be easy to remove the base. Now, I do end up keeping this table, and it's for various reasons. Number one is that I first thought I would sell it for $100 for the table and the 2 chairs, which I'll show at the very end of the video. However, after about a day and looking at Facebook Marketplace in my area, most tables are sold for $100 with 6 chairs and in really great condition. Most tables are given away for free. So I realized no one was going to buy this from me as a bistro chair and table. So I brought it upstairs and I'm using it now in my living space, which I think is just adorable. So I am sanding all the pieces, and when I made this video, I didn't realize I show it from the iPhone area view, and then I do it again through the GoPro. So if that kind of thing is annoying to you, I'm trying to do better. This was still in my beginning time of making videos, and I have about 5 hours of video that I have to go through and get rid of the parts I don't want. And I try to cut myself out as much as possible because I know people don't really want to see me, my body, doing something. It's more interesting to see what my hands and what's happening to the project. So you'll see that I'm sanding the base, and then I sand the legs a little bit, and then I clean them all off. And I know that a lot of people say that you should wash all of your furniture before you sand. This was not really dirty, so I just scuffed it to get it so that the new paint would adhere to the old paint better. Nothing about this was dirty except for the red top, which I will be using in a different project, but I did not use it for this. After I clean all this off, I then clean off the table because I'm going to paint all of the base a black color. And the black is from the same paint that I bought about a month ago. It was from Lowe's. It was $2 for a half a gallon. It came in a gallon container, and that's because whoever bought it returned it. And I am just pleased as punch with this black paint. It makes everything look luxurious. So not only did I paint the base of the table, but I had two chairs that had cane seats. And I also did some trim work on those, which I paired with this table, which you'll see a little bit later on. So here is the GoPro version, and I like the GoPro because you can see more of what I'm doing. However, when I speed it up, it does make me feel like I'm a little bit on the Blair Witch Project movie set. So I think maybe I'll cut the amount of time I show and make it regular speed, because it sometimes even makes me a little bit like, woo, crazy feeling. I end up painting all of the sides black. I think it looks nicer because there was so much white drips and things like that. So I figured paint everything black. It'll look like that was that originally. And that way, yeah, I think it just looks nicer. Now this table does have little holes in it, and I know it's for hanging stuff up on, but my dad said that he likes using this because he has a way to clamp things onto the table. So sometime in the near future, I'll have him explain how he does that. And my dad is one of those old-timey guys who can do everything, so he's basically taught me how to do everything, which I really appreciate. So now I'm painting the legs, and I don't have any place where I can put them, which is out of the way and won't be knocked over. So I am putting them on the piece of wood and hoping that nobody comes in and knocks them over. And so far I've been lucky, but that is a thing in my notes to do. Make some kind of contraption where you can put things that are drying. But yeah, anyway, so you can see I'm very gently walking over, putting it down, making sure nothing falls over. Is it gonna fall over? I don't know. So I'm kind of feeling it. Does it feel stable? I don't want it to fall over. I'm telling you, I make myself crazy sometimes. Now, right behind my feet, or next to my feet, you'll see that big white piece of wood. That's because every night my father does put his car in the garage, and when he hits the piece of wood, he knows that the back of the van has cleared the garage door, so that way there's still enough space in front of the van for people to walk, and the door won't hit the back of the van. So that's why that's in the middle of the garage, and sometimes I trip over it. So it's it's not always the best idea, but I try not to trip. So now I'm painting, and I do feel very zen when I paint. It just makes me so happy. Normally I don't drip, but for some reason the chairs that I paired with this, maybe I was being too impatient, but they did get a little bit of drip marks, so I had to redo some of those. Now these little guys are the support of the base. So there's I think about not 45 maybe degree cut, and they will attach to the base, and then the table legs, the screw goes through the hole in these, and then you put the screw on the outside, and that's the way the whole base is put together. I think all of the wood is fir. That's the way the grain looks. And a lot of wood back in the day, like my house, which was built in 1900s, 1910, I think, everything's fir. So I think this is fir as well. It looks very similar to what's in my house. I do paint it just because it's underneath. It makes it look cleaner. I think this looks more finished when you paint underneath as well. So, for those of you who find it interesting to find what Paula's projects used to be, Well, in my prior existence, well, years ago, I was everything from a paper delivery girl at the age of 12. I then worked at numerous restaurants. I worked at McDonald's. I worked at a Chinese restaurant. I worked at a teriyaki restaurant. I worked at a local furniture store doing deliveries and doing warehouse stocking. I was a camp counselor. I drove a tour bus in Alaska. I taught English in Korea and in the USA, USA first, then Korea, then China, uh, and the UAE 2 times. I've thoroughly enjoyed traveling around the world, and now that I am 53, my parents are a little bit elderly. My husband's going to have a grandkid, so I'm going to have a step grandkid, and so we decided it's a good time to come home. The prior job that I had wasn't my favorite. Teaching, the students were great. I had some confusion over management. So when they told me that they no longer needed my services, I was very happy to leave. After that, I traveled to visit my sister for about a month. Her daughter was graduating and turning 19 in Sweden. They have an extra year of high school, so it's normal for 19-year-olds to be still in high school. And then I traveled with my husband for about 2 weeks around Europe, or 3 weeks. Then I traveled a couple more weeks with my sister-in-law, her husband, and my brother-in-law, and my husband. And then I got home. Right away, I started doing these videos, and my goal is to be a project completer and posting what I do online for entertainment mostly. And if you get some education as well, that's great. I'm going to cough, excuse me. So the biggest shock actually about doing these videos is how much time the videos take to make. I have to download everything onto my MacBook, and then the MacBook gets full, so then I had to buy an external hard drive, and oh my goodness. And I'm not saying that 53-year-olds don't know how to do anything, but I haven't done much technology. So learning all of these things, learning about TikTok, learning about Facebook Reels, all these things that the kids do, I am learning. So part of me really enjoys that, and part of me is like, oh my goodness, this is taking me so much time. And you can't see that. So all of the editing and the frustration is just for me to enjoy. So I do like watching these videos back and seeing all of the imperfections that I have created. And that's why, really, when I was in Syria and an older gentleman who was selling rugs said to me, only Allah is perfect. I said, oh my goodness, yes, what a good way to not be so stressed out. People are not perfect. And sometimes people make things amazingly, but anyway. This is the maple top that I'm going to cut down to make for the new top. I found this on the side of the street with my friend. We were driving around Ballard, and it was just outside with a free sign. It's about, I'd say, 2-inch thick maple. It's just lovely, but it is filthy. I think a little kid lived in this house, and there are crayon marks everywhere. There's like food dripped underneath. So I decided I would cut it to put on the table. And I love power tools. So I know some people get very anxious about them because they can be dangerous, but I just love them. Love, love, love power tools. This is a router that my father designed. He made this table, and you take the top off. You then put the routering device inside, and then you plug it in, turn it on. Now I'm doing a sample right here to make sure that it looks the way I want it to look. And It does. So I make all sides of the table routered, which I should have shown you what it looked like. That way it's smooth. There are no sharp edges on the top or the bottom. So I'm doing the top part first. And then I do the other side as well. I did sand the back or the bottom of the table piece because there was some crayon on the bottom. And that way, if anybody flips the table over, they'll see a nice piece of wood all the way through. Now, this also could be used as a cutting board. After I remove all of the old wax off of this, I do use a mineral oil to protect it. And then that way it is a food grade table. Not that I'm going to do that, but in the future it could be used for that. Also, you can see a big black stripe on the front of the table, and that's a little bit deep. So later on, I really have to try hard to get that smooth. So I do use a lot of sanding on it. So first of all, I'm scraping all of the wax off of the top, and there was a lot of wax. Since I used to work at a furniture shop back in the day, this table would have been at least $600, $700. The farmhouse style, when I was working for the company that sold it, the chairs were about $150 each, and a table like this would have been about $600. Now I see on Marketplace the exact same chairs for free or $25 each. It's just amazing. Furniture does go down usually in price. So always look on Marketplace first. Furniture can be found everywhere. Now, when I did use this sander, I put on a brand new piece. So if you look on the bottom left, you can see a little bit of circles, and I do need to practice sanding it better. I do start with a higher grit and I do go down, but I couldn't get the little circular mark to go away. I could still see it. However, I chose to keep this for myself, so it's not that big of a deal because I like it. Now here I'm putting in a drill bit to make pilot holes in the wood, and after I start doing it, I realize that the battery is low. So I do like the battery operated tools because they're so much easier than having to unplug them and plug them in and plug them and plug them in. However, you have to remember, where did you put all of the plug-ins? So over here is where I store the area to the battery chargers. And sometimes when I put things someplace in the garage, my dad will move them. So now I'm looking at the battery like, how does this get put back together? Oh yeah, make sure that the light is blinking. That way it means it's being charged. So after I put the pilot holes in, now I'm going to screw the screws in to support the base. And I am doing it like this because the one screw is covered over by the support for the leg. So you can't just put the base on the way as a solid unit. That's why it looks like this. So now I'm going to get the drill again, and I'm going to realize there's no battery. Right. So when you take batteries off, you have to put the batteries back on. So then I I try to think about where's the battery? Oh yeah, oh it's not working. Right. Oh, where's the battery? Oh yeah, the batteries are kept in this area. Okay, great. Put the battery back on. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that takes a long time for me. Where did I put things? Where are things? I'm so much in the zone that I forget. So now I'm also going to forget, where did I put the, what are they called? The screws for the legs. So you'll see me walking around aimlessly. Where are they? Where are they? After I do this. And then I will eventually find them. Oh, where are they? Oh, where are they? Oh, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where is that? Oh, where? Oh, no. What? Where is it? Yeah, walking around aimlessly. Where are the screws? Where? Where? Oh, here they are. So then I used mineral oil. I have a friend of the family who he sold his house, and he had butcher block. So he hired me to redo his butcher block. So all you have to do is sand it down and then use mineral oil on it. And then it's like brand new. So I used that and just used mineral oil. I did it 3 times because each time a lot of the oil soaked in. When I was all finished, it looked like this. And you can see where the little flip would be for the leg of the, what's it called? Anyway, here's what it looks like all done. I use these chairs, and I hope you enjoyed Projects with Paula. If you did, please subscribe. Thanks.